Dan Kulik, this is a momentous occasion. We're minutes away from the opening of the 2012 edition of the Fastener Show. The Stealthfast monkeys have just come out of the crate. Can you announce it to the world?
The monkeys have arrived.
And the color is?
Turquoise.
You heard it here first, folks. Turquoise monkeys. Of course, by the time you hear this, it's going to be a little anticlimactic, right? Because who knows? What is this going to be, about a week and a half? How do you feel with this year's choice?
Great. They're beautiful. Beautiful. Stop by our booth.
I see Simi over here. I think I'm going to get a word with her about this. And whose choice was this, Simi? Turquoise.
It was a team decision.
A team decision, as in keeping with the Stealthfast motto, right?
Of course.
Congratulations on this year's choice.
Thank you.
This is a heartwarming moment here at NIFS 12. We've got a meeting of a few, actually three now, big names in the industry. Vicki Lester, Tom Buddenbone, and the one and only Mr. Andy Pelz. We're so glad. I think I could speak for all of us here that you made it, Andy.
Yeah, everybody's so relieved, The show wouldn't be the same without me.
Tom, you've been globetrotting. We've been seeing your tweets from Paris, France. You made it all the way, I guess, from Paris to be here, the real Paris.
I did. It was a great trip, and here it's 10:45 in the morning, and if I can add 9 hours to that, that's what time my body thinks it is.
And is your zeal for this have anything to do with the fact that here at the Pac West and attached NFDA booths, there's shortly going to be a keg of beer in attendance?
According to my watch, about 17 minutes.
Vicki Lester, is that true?
Roger that.
That's the report from on the floor here. We've already brought you the color of the Stealthfast monkey, and we'll be back with more. We're here with Mike McGuire playing NIFS Word Association. You ready to play, Mike?
Yes, one word.
Cap screws.
You mean hex head cap screws.
Hydrogen embrittlement.
Ron Meyer brought it to the industry, the NFDA.
Joe Greenslade.
Great guy. Great teacher.
iPhone.
Use it all the time.
NIFS.
Good organization.
Thanks for playing, Mike. And we're here with Tom Hipp at NIFS playing Fastener Word Association. You ready to play, Tom?
Help me. Yes.
And our first word is annealment.
Warm.
M32.
Long.
Lock nut.
Tight.
Springs.
Jumpy.
Barry Porteous.
Cool.
Dick Clark. Music.
Stop.
Susie Cravens, we're here in the Advanced Components booth, NIFS. Ready to play a little Fastener Word Association?
I'm scared.
What are you scared of?
The word association.
Okay, well, now that's clear. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Here we go. Cap screw.
Tinnerman.
Tinnerman.
A Ramon.
Coil wire.
Pretty.
Stainless.
Shiny.
Fallopian.
Trouble. Trouble.
Thanks for playing, Susie.
Okay. What was that last one?
That was half the size. You're recording this?
Well, now I am. No, we're here with Andy Pelz. We've just come from the Buckeye booth. Well, that was about 10 minutes ago. How was the Old Rusty, and you feeling any kick off that, Andy?
I think the alcohol content is somewhere around 15 to 20% on the Old Rusty Bolt, judging by how I feel.
Wow, that's high for a beer, isn't it?
That's extremely high. I think it's illegal, actually, and the ATF, or whatever they're called now, is probably going to be showing up any minute.
Right, well, that's probably true, but I think in Nevada you can get away with stuff like that, which is, I think, one of the big draws. So at this point, should we head over to the NFDA, sample what they've got, and report back?
Sounds like a plan.
Eric and Andy, NIFS.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. This is the online, on-demand Fastener Talk radio show for connoisseurs and aficionados of industrial threaded fastening. We're fresh off the largest trade event in the industry. We have a definite head of steam as a result, and we're glad you've clicked in. Hi, everybody. Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined, as always, by the co-host of Fully Threaded. He's a man who lives by the policy that you should load fastener inventory first and ask questions later. He's lifetime honorary Texan, Mr. Brian Musker.
Yeah, that's pretty much right, too.
You doing all right, Brian?
I am, yes. Sometimes you can ask questions before, okay?
When you're feeling a little proactive, that is, huh?
Yeah, right.
Well, Vegas week is behind us for another year, and I'm sure Jack the Fastener Dog was exuberant when he saw you and the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey return home after your absence.
Yes. Lynn was sort of calling back to Dallas, to Chicago, to make sure that he was all right, and he was very happy to see us.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about having a fastener dog is when you come home, there's always at least one creature who's very, very thrilled to see you back.
This is true.
I think we had a great time in Vegas this year. Of course, we're going to be talking about that a lot on today's show. Anything that really stood out in your mind about this year?
Well, no, I think it was, for a start, we stayed in a different hotel, and the show actually for me was miles easier and had a bit of fun in Las Vegas instead of usually it's just a bit of a drag, and then it's the show. Yeah.
We stayed at the Mirage this time around, and after 7 goes at it, we've really got it down kind of to a science, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's taken us 7 attempts to actually find a hotel that actually isn't, and is close enough and good enough and has all the right things in it.
Well, if you were fortunate enough to get to Vegas this year, then you're going to really enjoy some of the coverage we have for you today, folks. It'll probably connect a few of the dots for you. And if you didn't make it out this time around, then I'm sure our show today will give you a feel for what went down and what you missed from this year's show.
Or if you made it out but didn't quite make it to the show floor.
I bet you have someone in mind on that too, don't you?
I do have someone in mind, yes.
Our feature segment today is an in-depth discussion about this year's Vegas Fastener Show, featuring industry blogger, the traveling salesman, and from metric and multi-standard components, the incomparable Mr. Rich Cavoto. We've got bell-to-bell coverage for you on this conversation, folks, and you won't hear anything like it elsewhere in the fastener world, I'm quite sure of that. Also on the show today, we're going to speak to Mr. Dan Zehnder of Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Dan also has a few comments on this year's NIFS, along with a preview of some very special interviews we have in the works for future Fully Threaded episodes. We're all very excited about this, and also we're excited to welcome Trinity as the newest sponsor to the Fully Threaded radio show.
Yes, welcome.
Plus, Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International magazine presents today's Fastener News Report, and he has the latest FDI numbers and analysis from BB&T Capital Markets analyst Holden Lewis on the show for you today. In addition to all of that, folks, you heard a bit of Vegas coverage at the top of the program today, and we have some more to play for you on the show, including some really good fastener word association segments. But I think the showstopper today is a very special segment featuring the work of Wi-Fi founder Ms. Pam Berry of Advanced Components. I have to say, Bright, the segment she did for us is truly unlike anything the fastener world has ever heard on the program before.
Well, I look forward to it because I have not heard even a preview of it.
Well, seriously, folks, you don't want to miss this, so stay with us. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. Of course, everybody knows by now the color of this year's Stelfast monkeys is turquoise.
And I didn't get one, okay?
I think that can be arranged. Don't worry, Bray. Also, Beacon Fasteners and Components. Beacon Fasteners. Nice threads. Now, we mentioned later in the show the great party that was held by Beacon Fasteners at the V-Bar. And I got to point out before we get too much farther that Beacon has always been this great bastion of, I guess, fastener anthropomorphism with their ads. I mean, they have some great ads, but the latest one that appears in the Link magazine on page 47, oh man, this is just so funny.
Oh, it's perfect for Beacon too.
The headline of this thing, in case you haven't seen it yet, folks, is "Buy from Beacon, make your mother proud for once."
Yeah. So in all the rest of your life, you haven't done that.
So I was over at my mom's house visiting out there in Arizona, and when I got this thing, I showed her, and I actually tweeted a picture of her reading the Link magazine. So if you follow Fully Threaded on Twitter, get out there and look at one of our tweets from a few days back, and it's really, I think, a sweet photo. But this is a great ad.
Yeah, it is.
So we appreciate the support of our title sponsors and all our sponsors on Fully Threaded Radio. And we also appreciate that you are listening to the show and that you're sharing it with your friends and your coworkers and so forth. It's just a fantastic thing to watch our numbers go up every episode.
We might even have a few new listeners to this show too. People I accosted in our booth.
I'd be surprised if not. So welcome to all the new listeners as well. And let us know what you think, how we're doing, and so forth, folks. You can do that at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. Get out there on Twitter, as I mentioned, under the handle Fully Threaded. We also have a Facebook page, and we'd be happy to see your posts out there. We put some supporting links to the show. If we mention stories, we'll have them out there, and you can communicate with us that way as well. Hey, we're the people who bring you FastenersClearinghouse.com. We were just exhibiting at the now infamous booth 1715 at the Vegas show, and we were really talking a lot about Fasteners Clearinghouse, Brian.
Yes, we were.
It's a sourcing network for the fastener industry. I hope everybody on your team is using it. Anytime the need comes up to find a hard-to-find fastener inventory item, or if you just need to do a fill-in or something, flip side of that is if you're looking for a place to drive new business from, if you're looking to sell some excess inventory, some hard movers, or if you just want to put your book out there and find some new customers, use FCH.
Right, and don't forget that if you are listing your fasteners on FCH, you should encourage your purchasing people to source through FCH, okay?
Good point, Bri.
Yep.
Now, we were talking about our new links with some of the industry software platforms. How did that seem to go for us out there in Vegas?
Oh, I had a lot of interest actually, and we did that in concert with the Distribution One and in SQL and Business Edge, and but I had numerous customers who had been dealing in those booths, or customers that we've had for some time who stopped by to see how they'd get this activated. So we are currently working actively with these three companies, and this works pretty well, okay?
And we are just so excited to get the ball really, really rolling on this, folks, and we appreciate all of you who are jumping in with us on it. I think it's going to lead to some really exciting things for the industry.
Yes, and not the least of the great benefits of this is one of the things that's the bugbear of all of the inventory systems online is that it gives us the chance really of getting our quantities right, okay? And that anyone who uses us will know that this is a really important thing, and we want to be the first ones to make sure that we have really good quantity figures.
Man, I think a lot of people in the industry are too. We're really getting a lot of mind share on this, so keep up the good work. I know you guys have been putting in so much, and it's no small task. Speaking of no small tasks, since we got back from Vegas, I mean, it's just like this huge pile of emails and voicemails and things to dig out from. I mean, the follow-ups, it's just, we got a big stack in front of us, Bri.
Right. I'm working my way through it. That's all I can say.
I got one shocker. So our health insurance got shut off while we were gone.
Oh, actually, that's a change. It's usually out, the secure key to our site, goes down or something like that.
Well, it's always something, but this year our insurance company, they terminated us. And the thing is, I paid in advance. So it was really crazy. So I had to go to our bank and get some images of the canceled checks. And you'll get a kick out of this. I was standing there in the lobby of the bank, and all the tellers were there. I don't know, there was a handful of people there waiting for various services and stuff. And, I mentioned to the teller what had happened. And I said, but even though we don't have health insurance right now, I'm not really that worried, because we've got Obamacare now. And it was funny, like the lobby just erupted in laughter.
Yeah, right. If only it wasn't so serious.
Oh, I know. I mean, does anybody take this thing seriously? I don't know, man.
I don't know where they are. But still.
Well, we're coming up to the election, and as you know, on Fully Threaded, we talk a lot about that, but we're going to leave it alone here. And if you're worried about us, folks, please don't be, because we are paid in full on our insurance. It was all reinstated, and I don't know, it was some bureaucratic snafu that led up to that, but I just had to share that because I thought it was a riot.
Right, yeah.
Confusion, right?
Right.
Speaking of confusion, seems like in Vegas, I'm always either in a meeting, I'm, working with somebody, or I'm lost on my way to the next meeting or the next event. It's like if I go from here to there, I have to account for like an extra 15 minutes just for lost time, just wandering around in circles.
Yeah, well, I did that too, and it was not helped by the fact that I guess it was the Venetian kept on blocking off different sections of their gambling casino, and they'd say, well, just follow the yellow curtains and turn left, okay? And then the next time you'd come in, they'd be moved, and you'd end up in some completely different place, and you could never find how to get there. So getting back was easy, and getting there was always a trial.
Yeah. I saw those curtains. I really didn't know what that was all about, but just getting between all the buildings and stuff, I don't know. I guess it's just really not my town.
No, I know. They could be easier, but it could be worse. Remember, we used to have to walk for 5 miles between hotels to try and get to the Mandalay Bay to, set up.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody's in agreement on that one. I mean, that was like a death march every day.
Yeah, and the floors were all uneven, and it was like this, just walked forever over all sorts of different surfaces. But so I like where it is now. I like the place. It's and it's sort of just over one of the Venetian bridges, and off you go.
No, I agree. I think most people agree with you too. Although, having said that, you still put a lot of miles on, and I got to tell you, even a few days after, my feet still kind of hurt.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I know. There's tons of walking it, but.
And that's even after spending a little bit of time over at the Pac West booth. I don't know if you made it over there, Bri, but, Vicki Lester and the crew, they had this great idea that they continued this year, and they've got these sofas set up with these foot massager devices, and you can sit in there, and oh my gosh, that's just a godsend.
Yes, I went over there for a look. At one stage, I sneaked out of the booth because, fortunately, it was just down the aisle from where we were. So, I found there was sort of a waiting queue of people to get onto it.
Oh yeah, if they do anything to improve that booth next year, they'll add like another 2 or 3 couches.
Right.
And of course, we've got this event under our belt now, and just looking at the calendar, we've got a couple of more events coming, and one of them is from Pac West, and the other one is from NFDA, and they had adjoining booths this year, and the fall meetings are coming up. I hope everybody is recuperating to the point that they can start thinking about those, because one of the great things about this year's NFDA and Pac West meetings is that they're going to have one day of overlap. They're both in the same city, and that's Scottsdale, Arizona. The NFDA meeting is on November 7th and 8th, and then the Pac West meeting is on the 8th through the 10th. So they've got that one day of overlap, Bri.
Yeah, and that should work out pretty well, actually.
Well, they're doing a little commingling. I think as the year unfolds, you're going to start to see a little bit more synergy. And I really have kind of a good feeling for what's happening here with this whole vision of the different associations kind of working together. I think it's really starting to take off, and I think a lot of people feel the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I mean, I talked to a number of people, and most of the larger companies are members of more than one association, and but there seems to be a rejuvenated view and interest in NFDA.
Right. And, of course, Jay Queenan is the current president of the NFDA. There have been some shifts, as a lot of people know, with the executive directorship, the executive management in several of the associations, and all this is culminating. Keep your eyes open for what happens at Fastener Tech in Chicago coming next June, folks. We're going to have some really big news about that in the near future, Bri. And that's going to be a big show, I think, relative to what it's been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Say, there's another show that's coming up even sooner than that, and that's in May. It's May 8th and 9th, and that is the All-American Fastener Show. A lot of folks will remember that previously had taken place in Branson, and it was canceled this year because of the bad weather, and Heidi Voltrauer is driving all of that. The All-American Fastener Show this year, or I should say in 2013, will happen May 8th and 9th in Kansas City, Missouri.
Right. And someone needs to go out there for a little pre-visit to check out the really good restaurants, barbecue restaurants. Should be plenty of them there.
Yep, so I've heard.
Just in case you're interested in something other than fasteners, okay?
I think we just demonstrated that at Vegas this last week, Bryce, so. But your point is well taken.
Right, okay.
And all of this conversation about these other shows and events and everything is while we're still recovering from Vegas, Bry. Seems kind of weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
But right now, we're going to talk to somebody else who is probably still recovering from the Fastener Prom, and that's Dan Zehnder of Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Hey, have your feet stopped throbbing yet, Dan?
Feeling much better, Eric. Thank you. It was quite an event.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of days. I think mine are just about over the hill too.
Yeah, and as your voice returned, I think I just about lost my voice actually.
Easy to do. Better your voice than your money.
Yeah, that's true. Plenty of chances for that.
Well, I think a lot of people lost a little of both out there, and hopefully not too much, that's for sure. Well, Dan, we wanted to have you on the show. We're so glad to have Trinity with us as our newest sponsor, and it was great to see you out at the Vegas show. What were your impressions at this year's show?
Well, thank you, Eric. First, let me say we're glad to be a part of FCH. We really enjoy it, and thank you for this opportunity to be on Fully Threaded Radio. The show we just thought was dynamic. It was good to see the extra attendees, the booths that were there. The traffic was good. We had a lot of interest in our product and what we brought to the table. So I thought it was a very good show. Friday, obviously, it died off quickly, and maybe there's something that can be done about that. But for a one-day, Thursday, it was a very, very good day.
Right, it's the eternal question. I think everybody would love to come up with an answer to that. How do you get that Friday morning traffic a little stronger? And in practice, what happens is all the exhibitors kind of sell to each other, right?
That's what happened for us. We had several that came by either wanting to sell to us or people that we work with, and frankly, we took advantage of the time that way to meet with some of our supply base as well. So it wasn't all bad. But sure would be nice to see some additional traffic on Friday as well for customers, people that we can sell.
Right. Well, of course, one of the problems, as we've noticed over the last few years, is that there's a lot of rather late attendances on Friday morning, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the previous night and whatever was the hopping bar is a bit of a problem, okay?
I don't think you're going to put a stop to that one, guys.
No, that one's going to be ongoing.
Now, did you just if we go back to last year, how did you compare this year in the sort of the outlook of the people you talked to versus last year's show?
Well, that's a very good question, Brian, because last year I actually felt the show had more energy, more enthusiasm, more excitement. I think people were coming off a very soft 9 and 10, and so it was good to finally get some juice behind you a little bit and get re-engaged and get sparked up a little bit. So I thought 11 actually had more energy, and yet for Trinity, we had better leads generation, if you will, show activity this year than we did last year. But we added a lot of products, our new catalog, a variety of things that I think made a difference there. Specifically on the discussion of the economy and what's coming up, there was clearly a lot more caution, I'll say, this year with regards to fourth quarter and going into 13 than there was last year going into 12. So there was some, I don't know if I'd call it pessimism just yet. Caution is the word I would use.
Yeah, caution's a better way of saying it. And of course, last year, too, we also had a couple of big stories, and the biggest one, of course, was the whole heads and threads thing. This year, one of the big themes was the election, but did you notice any other themes?
No, not really. I can't say nothing that stood out in my mind. The election was the big one, and what was going to happen with the debt crisis both in Europe and how's that going to roll over here. Those were the two global impacting things that I would say that I discussed with folks on.
I'd like to think that people other than just Fastener people were concerned about that. Maybe someone in Washington.
They're busy. They've been on The View and other programs like that. So.
Yeah, right. You're right. Right.
When you're tied up doing interviews like that, it's hard to concern yourself with global crises.
Right. That's the pity.
Well, hopefully we're going to get a serious team in there in the near future, and I think a lot of people out there on the show floor agree with that view. Well, Brian, you were curious about kind of an ongoing subject, one of your favorite metric issues. Maybe Dan's got some input on that.
Yeah, and I just this is my own view, and based on the analysis we do of searches on our site, we notice about the ratio of searches for DIN metrics versus ISO metrics at about 95 to 5. Okay, it's a very, very, very lopsided percentage. I discussed this with Lee Sachs from Maryland Metrics, and his view is it's sort of similar. So now I want to ask you. You really deal with both metrics and imperial fasteners. So how do you see the usage of ISO numbers versus DIN numbers?
Well, that's another good question. We get inquiries for both, but predominantly our business is around ISO metrics. This because we're automotive based. We support customers that support those industries, whether it's on highway or off highway, and those have a global standard attached to them most often, and it would be referencing the ISO. Now, what's interesting is taking the time to do the overlap, where you're checking the width across the flats on an ISO versus a DIN, and narrowing it down to, well, where do we have an issue and where don't we have an issue? Usually head height isn't as much an issue as the wrenching is the issue.
Right.
So understanding it, doing a little education in the marketplace, we've been able to show people that they need to convert their old specifications from the DIN reference to the ISO reference. And in many cases, we've been successful with that because of that training.
Okay. Well, this is something that we need to come back to because, there's a push from our, friend Joe Greenslade and others actually to encourage people heavily to use ISO metrics. But this is not the practice as we see it. And if, this is considered to be what's good for the U.S. industry, then we need to be supporting it however we can do that.
Well, our campaign to convert everybody from metrics back to imperial inch product by saying that metric is evil and inch is good was not successful. So,
well, you can extend that a bit further. You could always go back to pounds, shillings, and pence, which I grew up with.
Who's
really
using
was some trouble.
The British don't even use that.
I know.
I think you hit it on the head, Bri. That's something that we definitely need to come back to. I mean, that's clear. I mean, it seems like Joe Greenslade's got an article in Link Magazine every other issue on that subject. So, interesting perspective on it. You mentioned that you support a lot of automotive, Dan. Why don't you lay out Trinity for us? And, before you do that, I'd like to say that we're going to talk next about something that we've been talking a lot about, and that's this, I don't know, kind of a retrospective or what's all happened in these with the legends of the industry. And before we get into that, let us know what Trinity's all about, and maybe that's going to give us some of the backstory on how you got to where you are.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Trinity is actually 9 years old this month. We were born out of a company my grandfather started in 1948, Ernest Machine, and in 2003, on October 31st, we split the businesses into two separate independent companies. And coming out of a family organization, we had a large number of shareholders in the Ernest world. You're going to have many differences of opinion, challenges, and so forth that put different pressures on the business in different ways. And so we decided it's best if we were to split the businesses and create two separate companies. And so that's what we did. Worked out very well. We're still all getting along. We don't travel as much as we used to, but we're still all a good family. So that's good. That was the main objective there. And so Trinity today, we focus on a variety of things, from our catalog activity to our production runs and production support of a variety of different components, not just in fasteners, as well as our third-party logistics services and so forth. You can really see most of this on our website.
And what is that website, Dan?
The website is www.trinityscs, and that stands for supplychainsolutions.com. Perfect.
Now, the entity that we're promoting on Fully Threaded Radio is Trinity Hardware Headquarters. And what's that business all about?
That is our packaged catalog business. We've got packaged fasteners, over 10,000 different items. We've got several thousand that are teed up to be added in the next catalog run. Right now, over the next several months, 18 months or so, it'll be the catalog that we have out now should almost triple in size because of what will wind up in that catalog.
Wow.
But it's predominantly catalog packaged fasteners of all sorts.
Are you focusing in on any particular geographic area, or are you just all North America?
The whole planet, actually, Eric. Anybody that is credit-worthy? No, I'm kidding. We're predominantly focused here, yes, in North America.
You never know these days.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's all very exciting, and I'll say once again that we're thrilled to have you with us. We welcome you, and why don't we then talk about this other project that you and I have actually been brainstorming on for, it's been a couple of months, and it's kind of coming together. We're going to be doing some recording in the very near future, and you're really driving this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it was a great discussion that we had a few months back, Eric, where we started talking about all the, if I could say it this way, the old-timers of the industry, the pioneers, if you will, that some have passed away, some are certainly retired or moved on, that frankly just have all the great stories of what things used to be like. Our business is still very much a relationship people-type business, and with technology being what it is today, the computer, iPhones, everything else, it's easy to think it can become very impersonal. And so as we were talking about it, hey, why don't we tap into some of these folks? And you were kind enough to reach out to me and suggest my uncle, John Zehnder, and my dad, Jim Zehnder, and myself just have a discussion with them about, if you will, the good old days.
And we're going to be doing that in just a couple of weeks, and I am so looking forward to that. And Fully Threaded listeners, stay tuned, because we'll have that hopefully in the next couple of episodes. So, yeah, I really am looking forward to this one, Dan.
Yeah, I am too. And actually they are as well. I've arranged their plane tickets and hook them up with the hotels and so forth like that. So I just have to make sure that we allow sufficient nap time in between. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
That'll wind up on the edit room floor, won't it? No, I'm kidding. But they're very much looking forward to it and have some great stories to tell. And Eric and Brian, I thank you for taking the time to do that. Our industry is going to be better off with guys like you doing stuff like that.
Hey, sure do appreciate that. Well, folks, take a look at Dan's website, and that is once again at www.trinityscs.com. And stay tuned for these Legends of the Industry segments that we're going to be working on over the next few months. Well, Dan, it's been great to have you on. Thanks once again for getting with the Fully Threaded Network.
Well, Eric, Brian, thank you both very much. I do appreciate it and really enjoy the program.
Oh, no, that's our pleasure, mate.
We'll be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded Radio. It's Fastener dog-approved talk radio for the fastener industry.
Looking for package fasteners of all kinds? How about specials or unique parts that no one seems to carry? At Trinity Hardware Headquarters, we believe in parts done right, and our new catalogue is available online at trinityhardwarehq.com, featuring over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in package quantities, product kits, and assortments, including hundreds of hard-to-find parts as well as the most popular inch and metric sizes. Trinity Hardware Headquarters has locations throughout the Midwest and South, and over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space with 18 million pounds of fasteners ready to fill your requirements. Our featured products include number 3 and number 7 head plough bolts, grade 5 and grade 8 carriage bolts, hook bolts, tap bolts, and nuts and washers of all kinds, plus much more. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or give Trinity Hardware Headquarters a call at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
This is John Walkman of Desert Distribution Sales in Scottsdale, Arizona. I want to invite you and all of my fastener friends to join us for the Pacific West Fastener Association Fall Conference to be held here at the beautiful Scottsdale Resort and Conference Center on November 8th through 10th. The conference is packed with content that will help guide your business through the coming year. Please visit pac-west.org for details. The weather here in the high Sonoran Desert is always perfect in early November. The conference is based in the heart of Scottsdale and close to some of the best shopping, golf, and Western heritage that's made Scottsdale the West's most Western town. So don't forget to vote on November 6th, then head out to Scottsdale for the Pac West Fastener Association Fall Conference. I expect to see you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived to redefine the notion of superior engineering. See one and behold the ultimate synthesis of form and function, style and substance. Hear one as the head turns with inexorable force. Touch one and feel the fire-forged steel standing in stark contrast to the sleek and graceful lines of the body. But to drive one, to drive a 2012 Beacon Fastener is to experience a harmony of power and performance that surpasses all expectations. At any speed, at any torque, each 2012 Beacon Fastener model offers a level of handling unparalleled in its class. A feat made possible by the knowledge acquired through rigorous and systematic test driving, conducted at our own industry-renowned proving grounds, nestled in the heartland of America. And with the 2012 model year, we proudly introduce the newest high-performance addition to our lineup, the Machine Screw Series. Call toll-free at 800-669-2658 for your own private consultation with a Beacon representative and learn a whole new definition of performance. The 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived. Drive one today.
This is Ruth Dowling from Ningbo Jinding, here to announce this year's winner of our second annual 21-year-old Scotch promotion held in conjunction with the Las Vegas Fastener Show. The name drawn this year is Rick Snyder from Barnes Distribution. Congratulations to Rick, and thanks to everyone who came out to see us at the Las Vegas Fastener Show. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you. Well, it was good to see Dan Zehnder at the show.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a few times. I've never actually got to meet him. That's good. I'm glad I did that.
That's what the shows are good for. And, in the midst of all of those fastener people walking around, and it seems like it's a long day or a long couple of days, you really do miss a lot of people, too. I mean, there's several people we didn't even see until we were getting on our plane at the airport.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's that's true. And sometimes, people do stop by, and we had sort of a fair number of people around our booth most of the time, so I missed some people who sort of caught up with Lynn but didn't get to me. So if you stop by, thank you. If I didn't see you, sorry. Okay. We'll do it next year.
Great. And that goes double for me. Man, I missed a lot of people who swung by the booth.
Now, a couple of people I did catch who, have been members for ages with us, and I've never met them before. Finally, Hugh Watson, actually, from AFI Components. He's been a member for years. And Don Hershey from Century Fastener stopped by too. So that's good. And I reminded both of them. They didn't really need reminding to load some new inventory, but it was good. I got reminded I shouldn't be talking to members like that, but still.
That's your mantra.
Yeah. And that was really cool. A couple of people didn't stop by. I noticed one from my mate from Jim Saraceni that seemed to miss our booth somehow or other. Not quite sure where he got caught up.
I guess we shouldn't read too much into that, though, right?
No. And John Butler, very, very thankfully, ran away and got me a glass of beer, old Rusty Bolt, actually. John Butler from K&L Sales.
Yes, he did you a yeoman service.
Yeah.
Well, there were many people that we did run into, and we're going to play a little segment next, which is a continuation of what we started the show off with, and that was this kind of goofy word association game that we came up with.
Right. Yeah. It could be a little way out for the fastener industry.
Well, par for the course, my friend. Why don't we play that right now?
Right.
We're here with Marcy Meyer. We're pouring beer at the NFDA booth at NIFS. Looks like you got to drum up a little bit of business here, Marcy.
Well, it's free, so they can just come by the NFDA booth and get some.
Who can beat that price? Well, you ready to play some word association?
Yes.
Well, let's begin. Threaded rod.
NFDA.
Hydrogen embrittlement.
PacWest.
Stainless steel.
Star Stainless.
Vicki Lester.
PacWest.
Thanks for playing.
I've got associations on the brain.
And we're with the one and only Tracey Lumia of Link Magazine. How's it going for you at NIFS, Tracey?
Going great. What a wonderful show.
It really is. Ready to play some Fastener word association?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to throw a word at you, and your first word is wood screw. What first thing that comes to your mind?
Woody Woodpecker.
Stainless steel.
Strong.
Leo.
Icon.
Solution Industries.
Lots of fun.
Thanks for playing, Tracey.
Thank you.
And we're in the Stellfast booth now, this time with Ted Nieman. Ted, thanks for joining us again. You haven't been on the show for a while. You're looking good.
Thank you, Eric. It's been a pleasure. It's a fantastic show going on right now.
Yeah, it really is. I think they have exceeded their expectations on this one.
Yes, the people are coming by. Getting the turquoise monkeys. Been a hot hit this year, and already looking for what colors next year. But we got to get through this year first.
Exactly. Well, we tweeted that first thing this morning. But right now, it's time to play a little Fastener word association. You ready?
Absolutely. Lay it on me, Eric.
U-bolt.
Stellfast.
Stainless.
Stellfast.
Exportation.
Stellfast.
Ah, that was a good one. Barry Porteous.
Competitor Stellfast.
Thanks, Ted.
You bet. Enjoyed it.
I'm here with Bob O'Brien of Certified Products. They're out of Chicago. And are you enjoying the show so far, Bob?
It's quite enjoyable. We made it just about all the way through it. Had a rusty, rusty nail, rusty bolt. Nice new product been introduced here at the show that found quite a few takers on it. So
yeah,
yourself as well, I believe.
Yeah, Buckeye has done a good service, I think, to the industry. Well, yes. We are playing some Fastener word association. You ready to play, Bob?
I guess so. You'll tell me if I'm not, right?
Say the first thing that comes to your mind. Lock nut.
Technology.
Galvanization.
Hot dip.
Simi.
Valley.
Quality.
Products.
NFDA.
I don't know. MWFA.
Beer.
Cold.
Golf.
Good.
Nancy Rich.
Finest executive director around.
Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Sara Mallo with Rotor Clip. You're looking well in your jungle attire.
Yes, I'm ready for my safari hunt. Taking Rotor Clip across the world.
Yes, well, as usual, a very imaginative booth from Rotor Clip at this show.
Thank you very much. We always enjoy putting it together.
Ready to play a little Fastener word association, Sarah?
Okay, just be prepared.
Indeed. Here we go. Wave spring.
Rotor Clip.
Trilobular.
Trilobular? Too many earrings.
NFDA.
Good organization.
Fifth helmet.
Indiana Jones.
Threaded insert.
ABK.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Sarah, thanks for playing.
Oh, that's it. What do I win? I win the chance to come back on your show. Thanks a lot, Eric.
Dave Audia, Advanced Components. Ready to play Fastener word association? Let's do it. Wire. Less. Stainless. Steel. Annealment. Heat treat. Brighton Best. Awesome. Metric. Fasteners. Fasteners. Rosemary. Baby. You did a good job. Thanks, Dave. All right, thank you.
So there you have it. Fastener word association.
Right.
What would Dr. Freud say?
Well, yeah, probably quite a lot, actually, knowing him.
We didn't put too much analysis into people's answers, but I guess that would be the next logical step, right?
Right. A Nieman. Where on earth did you come up with that?
Yeah, I know. I haven't got the vaguest idea what I would say if somebody threw that one at me. Well, let me throw one by you and see what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word Fastener News Report.
Mike McNulty, of course.
Of course. And he was focused at the show, and he's coming up in just a moment. And why don't we, before we bring him on, say thanks to our sponsors on today's episode. And, of course, the title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast and Beacon Fasteners and Components. We've also got Trinity Hardware Headquarters with us today. And the Fastener News Report is brought to us by Volt Industrial Plastics and Fastener Technology International Magazine. Also, thanks to each and every one of you for listening to Fully Threaded Radio and sharing it with your friends, coworkers, and so forth. We really, really appreciate it.
All right, and keep sharing it. Tell anyone who even think might be even faintly interested in the fastener industry and hasn't heard of us yet.
Yeah, I mean, even if they've even seen a screw or a nut in their life, tell them about the show.
Right. Yeah.
And with that, here's Mike McNulty.
Thanks, Brian and Eric, and greetings to all the Fully Threaded Radio listeners out there. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. Well, I am pleased to report that once again I made it all the way to Las Vegas and back without losing any money, my car keys, or my laser beam focus on the fastener industry. So let's not waste any time. Here's today's Fastener News Report. In our top story, we're going to get the results of the Fastener Distributor Index for September. In addition, we have some newsmaker headlines from Scoville Fasteners, Elite Fasteners, General Fasteners Company, the European Union, Great Lakes Fasteners, Fastenal, Lindstrom Metric, Bassard Metrics, and the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo. We also have a back page report on 2 different approaches to paying expenses. We will get to all of that and the Fastener Distributor Index results right after this.
Hey, Fastener people. Let's meet in the middle in Kansas City, Missouri for the All-American Fastener Show, May 8th to the 9th, 2013. This is Heidi Voltrauer, and I'm so excited to have the show in Kansas City at the Intercontinental Hotel on the Plaza. And getting there is easy. Once you catch a direct flight into Kansas City or make the drive, you can park your car and enjoy the hotel and plaza with all of its amazing shops and restaurants right across from the hotel. We will have the golf tournament, booth setup, and of course our famous Fastener Bash on May 8th. And the show will be on the 9th starting at 9 a.m. We've also added a lunch seminar the day of the show. For all your information about the All-American Fastener Show, look at our website at allamericanfastenershow.com. Hope to see all of you in May at the All-American Fastener Show in Kansas City.
Volt Industrial Plastics is the source for all your high-quality plastic fastener needs, and customer service is their #1 priority. With almost 1 million fasteners in stock and same-day shipping on stock items, Volt Industrial Plastics carries inventory so you don't have to. Volt manufactures everything in-house from over 125 different materials, and they're proud to say 100% of their products are American-made. And of course, custom tooling and in-house bagging is available. Contact Volt online at www.voltplastics.com. Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
You're listening to Mike McNulty's Fastener News Report on Fully Threaded Radio.
After inching above the 50-point mark in August, the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as FDI, seems to be establishing its own trend of sluggish equilibrium with a 48.2 result in September. FDI data is collected and analyzed by BB&T Capital Markets and the FCH Sourcing Network, and it seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener industry. To get the story on what is driving these oscillated conditions in the fastener distribution sector, we talked to Holden Lewis of BB&T Capital Markets. Hi, Holden. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Good afternoon, Mike. Thanks for having me as always.
Now, it looks like the FDI has been seesawing around the middle level of 50 for most of the summer and now into the fall. What can you tell us about the FDI results for September?
Well, I think that that's right, Mike. And if you remember when we discussed the August result, we sort of termed that a bit of stability after what had been some weaker numbers during the middle part of the year. And I would say that in September, the FDI continued to exhibit some of that stability. The overall index came in at about 48.2. Again, remember, anything above 50 signals expansion, below 50 signals contraction. So 48.2 on its face may not seem like a great number, but I think you really have to look at it in the context of the last few readings. The September number was 48.2. August was 51. July was 45.1. June was 51.6. When you average them all together, you're really coming up with a 49.50 type of reading, which, you know, that really is just kind of telling you that business conditions month to month have really stabilized. And so I think that there was some palpable concern out there earlier in the year when business conditions seemed to have stepped down back in the April to May time frame. But since then, I think that we've really seen conditions begin to stabilize, and there's other, I think, tangential indications of that same trend. You know, the broader PMI index, which measures the overall manufacturing space, it also is kind of oscillating, as you put it, around this 50 number. So the PMI and the FDI here are behaving somewhat similarly. And then with regards to the 6-month outlook, you know, a few months back, you know, there were a far greater number of people looking for a lower outlook in 6 months than a greater one. And in the last couple of months, that's really stabilized. And in the September reading, we had 31% of our respondents who think that 6 months from now things will be better than they are today, versus 26% that think that they're lower. Again, pretty well balanced, but the greater I think the greater message is that, you know, the lion's share just kind of see things as being the same. And I think if there's any message from the September reading, particularly following on August, it's simply that I think people are getting comfortable with this muddle through kind of environment that they find themselves in today.
Okay, so amidst all this stabilization, balance, comfort, etc., are there any sectors that are jumping out as being what you would categorize as strong sectors?
Well, there's a few. I mean, aerospace, I still think is a relatively strong sector. I think that the automotive, North American automotive, is still a relatively strong sector. And then, you know, I'm not really identifying much which is particularly weak. I guess I would maybe single out heavy-duty truck. There's been some noise of late that maybe the heavy-duty truck world is beginning to ease. But, you know, I think that when I think about the majority of the end markets that are out there, the message is really very much the same as with the indices that we're talking about, and that is most industries would tell you they're seeing things slow down, and I think that that's a pretty broadly applicable sentiment. So, you know, I don't think that we're seeing a lot of industries that are really distinguishing themselves, good or bad. Now, the one industry that is kind of interesting is on the construction side. On the construction side, you know, we are seeing the numbers begin to get better. It may be in fits and starts somewhat haltingly, but we are starting to see, you know, some improvement on, you know, on the construction side. And, you know, it's funny because when we did the survey, we actually had one individual comment that, you know, they're seeing the housing construction begin to improve slightly. They did comment on more competition for that business, but they're seeing it get better. And, you know, I think that's the environment that we have here is people that are exposed to construction are seeing things get a little bit better. People that are exposed to industrial and maybe seeing things get a little bit worse. Throw it all in the mix master and it kind of washes out in sort of this muddle type of environment.
Now going forward, we were at the Fastener show in Las Vegas last week, and overall I would say it was a positive show and maybe slightly better than last year. But there were, you know, a fair number of people saying, well, you know, once this election gets out of the way, then things will probably start rolling again. And I'm wondering if you've got any feeling or any evidence that after the outcome of the election might have an impact on fastener distribution, or just getting it out of the way might have an impact on general industrial activity? Any comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And one thing that I'll point out, again, referring to the survey that we did this month, in the other commentary that we received on top of just the numerical responses, there were several folks that commented that, they're looking to sort of get past these elections and hoping that things get better. I think really two things to note about that. First, it was mentioned on several occasions, which means that some people really do care. Secondly, they generally said that they hoped that things would get better. And, to the extent that there are a lot of people that think that that is going to be a defining event, and perhaps they're waiting on that to happen, then maybe it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. My sense, however, is the weakness that we're seeing, I don't really get a sense that it's all entirely related to whichever administration, is in power right now. I think what we're seeing is we're simply seeing the fact that Asian markets are poor. We're seeing that Europe markets are terrible. And it would be unrealistic to think that those issues at some point weren't going to wash onto our shores. So in terms of practical effect, my impression is that global economies probably matter more than what's going to happen in our particular election. So I think on the ground, come December, I'm not sure there's going to be a markedly different environment one way or the other, regardless of who wins or loses. But I will say this, there are some, there is certainly some reason why people might be a little bit more comfortable with maybe a change in the office holder, because there are some issues out there that are sort of back burner, but if they became front burner, could be a big deal. For instance, there are those that want to change how inventory is accounted for. And, if some of those changes go through, it could have very significant tax implications for smaller distributors, to the extent that rather than bear the giant tax burden, it might make more sense simply to sell. Certainly more comfort with regards to unionization, depending on who's in office. So I think that there are some of those back burner, smaller issues that, you could see getting pushed further and further back if there's a change in administration. But in terms of facts on the ground, I still tend to think that what's taking place in global economies is probably having more impact on us in the industrial sector and the fastener distribution world than who's actually in office at this time. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. And it's coming up pretty soon, less than a month away. Now, in summary on this report, this data, I think what you're saying is that even though it's these results aren't great, that there are some positives that you can pull out of this latest report, as well as the trending of the reports that we've seen through the summer. Is that correct?
It is correct. And I'll go back and reiterate something that I said in August, which is that in an environment like we have today, which is really not too hot, not too cold, nobody should be really chasing rampant demand, and nobody's running to try to keep up with dropping demand. It's really an environment that lends itself well to focusing on maximizing profitability. And I'm very interested in this earnings season that is now beginning for me. In fact, we had a couple of our distributors report earnings in the last week or so. And you know what? I think what we're going to find this season is that companies are going to be reporting somewhat weaker top lines, a somewhat cautious outlook, and I think at the same time they're going to be reporting decent levels of profitability, because they're not focused on putting 6 machines into their plant and getting those lines up and running. They're not focused on figuring out who within their org chart they're going to let go because demand is falling off. They're focusing on getting as much efficiency out of their existing systems as they possibly can. And so it's going to be an earnings season, I think, where, I don't think that the tone of business is going to be particularly good, but I think that a lot of companies are going to be pretty proactive on making sure they're squeezing every last dollar out of the revenue that they get. And I think that in this environment, I think that's where people really should be focusing.
Very good. Now, it's a good time to remind the listeners that you guys collect this data once a month, and you do it at the end of the month or the beginning of the month. Is that
We have an open period towards the end of the month, and within a day or two of the turn of the monthly calendar, we close the response. We close the response window and tally up the information, and 2 or 3 days into the month, we go public with sort of the numbers as we compile them. So there's a very fast turnaround, which makes the FDI a very timely index that you can sort of track what's going on in the markets with. And again, it's a very quick survey that we can deliver to you online, and it takes very, very little time to sort of fill. And I think we've got a very good base load of respondents at this point, but we would always love more. The more people responding to the FDI, the better that index will get.
That's for sure. Well, again, I'd like to thank you, Holden, for joining us and sharing your insight in the fastener distribution market. And we look forward to talking again. I guess in about a month, we'll have those election results, and we'll be able to speculate on them a little bit more.
There we go. Sounds great. I appreciate you having me again.
That was Holden Lewis of BB&T Capital Markets. Holden has a regular column on the FDI that appears in the print and digital editions of Fastener Technology International magazine. Next up, today's top Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Scoville Fasteners in Georgia has named Craig Stout as its new Chief Executive Officer. Craig is tasked with growing the firm's position as a supplier of fastener products that are to use primarily in the clothing and sporting goods markets. Jason Misner has joined Elite Fasteners Incorporated as a sales manager. Elite Fasteners is located in Rockville, Illinois, and it makes externally threaded fasteners and cold-headed specials. General Fasteners Company has opened a new facility in McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania, and it has expanded an existing stocking location in Augusta, Georgia. Based in Livonia, Michigan, GFC supplies fasteners to industrial, truck, and automotive customers from its facilities located throughout North America and Asia. The European Union began imposing duties of up to 74.1% on imports of iron and steel fasteners originating from China starting on October 1st. This was the result of finding out that suppliers in China were guilty of dumping fasteners into the European Union. Great Lakes Fasteners won the Cascade Capital Growth Award for the second consecutive year after posting sizable revenue gains and for creating new jobs. Headquartered in Twinsburg, Ohio, GLF distributes fasteners, packaging services, and inventory solutions to a wide variety of companies across the United States. Fastenal Company, headquartered in Winona, Minnesota, has reported a 10% rise in third-quarter sales and a 13% jump in profits, despite experiencing general slowness in its fastener businesses. The company cited big gains from its industrial vending machines, which now number in excess of 17,000 units. The company goal is to add 2,500 vending machines per quarter. Lindstrom Metric, a manufacturer and distributor of metric fasteners based in Blaine, Minnesota, has acquired Bassard Metrics, a supplier of metric fasteners located in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but under the agreement, Bassard will be integrated with Lindstrom, allowing the resulting operation to serve 2,000 distributor customers with more than 75,000 standard and specialty metric fasteners. And our top newsmaker headline is that the 2012 edition of the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo at the Sands Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada, was a huge success. With about 600 exhibitors and thousands of fastener industry attendees, the Las Vegas Fastener Show was the biggest one since 2007. Highlights included 90 new exhibitors, nearly 60,000 square feet of machinery and tooling exhibits, lots of new exhibit furnishings and display graphics, dozens of new faces, and gallons of free beer. Next year, the Las Vegas show returns to the Sands Expo October 23rd through the 25th. Finally, let's turn to the back page for a report on two approaches to paying expenses. Earlier this month, Mitt Romney visited Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, a modest-sized city next to my hometown, to hold a political rally. Before the event, his staff contacted city officials to get permission, as well as to get an invoice in advance for the extra expenses that the city might incur because of the visit. Romney's campaign paid up front about $7,000 in overtime pay for city workers and for rental of a city building. In contrast, another local city, Copley Township, sent a bill in 2008 for $10,000 to Obama for America to cover city expenses incurred during a 2008 campaign stop by Joe Biden. So far, Copley has not received a penny. This past summer, President Obama brought his re-election campaign to yet another Ohio town, Fairlawn, where it rang up nearly $35,000 in police overtime and other expenses. Fairlawn sent a bill to the campaign, and it has not been paid. And finally, when President Obama recently came to Akron, the biggest city in our county, city officials decided that it would not bill the campaign for the $21,000 in expenses that it incurred during the visit. The reason given by city officials was that it was a privilege to host a sitting president, even on a campaign stop. It is funny how easy it is to spend other people's money and to ignore expenses paid by taxpayers. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International, bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
This is where it starts to get really good, folks. Rich Cavoto and the Traveling Salesman recap NIFS next. Then Pam Berry takes us to the inner sanctum. It's fully threaded.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived to redefine the notion of superior engineering. See one and behold the ultimate synthesis of form and function, style and substance. Hear one as the head turns with inexorable force. Touch one and feel the fire-forged steel standing in stark contrast to the sleek and graceful lines of the body. But to drive one, to drive a 2012 Beacon Fastener is to experience a harmony of power and performance that surpasses all expectations. At any speed, at any torque, each 2012 Beacon Fastener model offers a level of handling unparalleled in its class. A feat made possible by the knowledge acquired through rigorous and systematic test driving, conducted at our own industry-renowned proving grounds, nestled in the heartland of America. And with the 2012 model year, we proudly introduce the newest high-performance addition to our lineup, the Machine Screw Series. Call toll-free at 800-669-2658 for your own private consultation with a Beacon representative and learn a whole new definition of performance. The 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived. Drive one today.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
Looking for package fasteners of all kinds? How about specials or unique parts that no one seems to carry? At Trinity Hardware Headquarters, we believe in parts done right, and our new catalogue is available online at trinityhardwarehq.com. featuring over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in package quantities, product kits, and assortments, including hundreds of hard-to-find parts as well as the most popular inch and metric sizes. Trinity Hardware Headquarters has locations throughout the Midwest and South and over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space with 18 million pounds of fasteners ready to fill your requirements. Our featured products include number 3 and number 7 head plough bolts, grade 5 and grade 8 carriage bolts, hook bolts, tap bolts, and nuts and washers of all kinds, plus much more. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or give Trinity Hardware Headquarters a call at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
This is John Walkman of Desert Distribution Sales in Scottsdale, Arizona. I want to invite you and all of my fastener friends to join us for the Pacific West Fastener Association Fall Conference to be held here at the beautiful Scottsdale Resort and Conference Center on November 8th through 10th. The conference is packed with content that will help guide your business through the coming year. Please visit pac-west.org for details. The weather here in the high Sonoran Desert is always perfect in early November. The conference is based in the heart of Scottsdale and close to some of the best shopping, golf, and Western heritage that's made Scottsdale the West's most Western town. So don't forget to vote on November 6th, then head out to Scottsdale for the Pac West Fastener Association Fall Conference. I expect to see you there.
This is Josh Glazer with Glazer & Associates, glazerbolt.com, your full-line online source for fasteners. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Well, the 2012 Vegas Fastener Show is in the books, and joining us again this year for the star-studded recap. We got a lot of mileage out of this last year. We figured we'd do it again. Along with Brian and myself, we've got the one and only Rich Cavoto from Metric and Multi. How you doing, Rich?
Good. How's everyone doing today?
Doing pretty good, thanks, mate.
Well, relative to last week, I don't know. We'll get to that.
Right.
Oh, we will definitely get to that.
Also, industry blogger, traveling salesman, a.k.a. TS. Hey, TS, thanks for joining us again.
It's my pleasure.
Now, which palm are you peeking up behind this time?
Brian, if I told you that, I'd have to kill you. So I just
okay.
I have to assume new identities continuously to keep away from the likes of you. So I can't tell you.
Well, that's the cross you bear, TS, and you have already beat us to the punch, and you've gotten a recap of this year's show out on your blog, which is at fastenerblog.net. And there's a comment there or two about yours truly and Brian and even Rich. So hope everybody gets out there and reads that. Why don't we start from the beginning? I think I don't know about you, TS, but we all got there on Tuesday, and things really kind of got off to a fast start.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were out there on Tuesday. I ran into plenty of them, and I know the people had a lot of meetings set up for Tuesday, and a lot of people just wanted to get out there and have some time before the rush of the show. But that didn't stop people from going out to the outdoor bar at Harrah's, watch the entertaining bartenders flipping bottles that were on fire and balancing glass on their foreheads, and good fun like that. So that was a fun time. I was there.
AKA the Carnival. I think I did see someone that resembled the traveling salesman, but I'm not positive.
That's the thing. We're never quite sure if we saw him out there or not, but I know I did see the Metric and Multi crew, among others, Mr. Cavoto.
We were there. It's definitely a fun little place between Harrah's and the Imperial Palace there, with some live entertainment on stage. And like the TS said, it's definitely has some entertaining bartenders doing a lot of tricks.
Yeah.
With, bottles of booze and everything that goes in them.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, as well as was the AC/DC cover band. So it was a good way to warm up for Wednesday, and of course Wednesday was the big gala. What were your impressions of this year's version of that, Bri?
Oh, well, it seemed like gazillions of people there, and they had pretty good food there this time. And I saw some of our new members there. I ran around.
What do you mean this time?
Well, normally I sort of vaguely search around and can hardly find anyone. I found our traveling salesman friend. I found Rich and a few others. I normally actually don't find that many people I know. But this year I did.
I thought it was very well attended, and I always have I don't want to say a problem with how that show begins, but they seem to gather in a lot of industry people for 1 hour, and it's always a good group. I struggle with this. A lot of people choose to have meetings at that same time, which boggles my mind that they don't come to where a lot of industry people are. But that's, everybody's got their own choice. They can go gamble or have a dinner or a private meeting. And then the welcoming ceremony lasts an hour, and I wish they'd just leave it open all night, make it a cash bar, and bring a band in, because everybody scatters from there after they get everybody to congregate in one area. And I think part of the show appeal is you do want to get together with other industry people. So it boggles my mind how we all gather for 1 hour and then all split up into separate meetings or dinners or whatever. But
no, I totally know what you mean. I always think about it like, in the movie Caddyshack, where they had welcome caddies from like 1 to 1:15.
That's for swimming purposes only. That's for swimming.
Yeah, right.
But that's actually a really good idea, TS.
I agree with the 1 hour. It isn't quite long enough. It was well set up. They had they had ample bars set up. The food there really was no line. I know we were there right at 6 o'clock, and there was a mad, big rush of people getting in there, but, there was no long line to stand in. You got to see some people. Could it be a bigger room, last another few hours longer, like the TS said, and, do a cash bar and have a band, and, everyone could stick around there a little bit longer, which would be probably a pretty good little feature, and a lot of people would probably do it.
I'm under the impression that it already is like that. That difference is that the free booze turns off and then it turns into a cash bar.
Well, I think a lot of people, because I know what we did is we set up a vendor dinner right afterwards, somewhere close. But if we knew it was, 6 to 9, people might not get there right at 6. They might get there at 7. They might stick around for an hour and a half and then do dinner. You can kind of almost have it come in shifts almost, the people kind of coming and going there. The first hour would be free, and the other 2 would be a cash bar. It's usually not a real big deal for most people and most companies, but something to shake it up a little bit, or maybe fully threaded sponsoring an hour would be kind of nice.
I was kind of thinking a similar thing, except I was thinking maybe the purveyors of Old Rusty Bolt might want to kick in.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Another great idea.
It's funny, I had a similar idea, but wasn't those same people kicking in? Now, it is funny. You probably could find a company that would sponsor the rest of the evening. The show does the first hour, and some company could step up and sponsor, like Rich said, you go from 6 to 10, because a lot of people wait to go to dinner till after that opening ceremony, so people can go there and see a lot of people. Again, I realize people like to take out customers and have a special night, make them feel special, but boy, you can't spend more than about 5 minutes with anybody till you feel like you have to move on because there's so many people in that room. So I don't know how you could change that, but if someone would sponsor that from 6 to 10, I think it'd be a very successful event.
I'm having this vision. I remember back at the NCFA golf outing, there was a company that was the beverage sponsor. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, it was RL English. I'm going to hit those guys up. I'll let you know what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're pretty frugal. I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try anyway. You got to try these things. Otherwise, you don't ask.
Just to let you know, Eric, the next time RL English goes to his pocket, we'll be the first. So please let me know if that does happen.
I'll pass that along, Rich. Sounds like you got a track record with those guys.
Better not hang with that guy then. I don't know.
Right,
go to his pocket.
Yeah, he sounds like pretty miserable sort of a character, that one.
I'd say.
I guess the good thing about just having the 1 hour, which kind of usually spills into like 90 minutes and then the subsequent private parties, is that most people make it to the show floor Thursday morning in relatively good shape. The majority of people actually are there at 9. And, maybe this is the master plan of show management. I mean, let's face it, they've been doing this a lot longer than we have,
Right. Yeah, this is
and we will get to Friday's condition of some people a little bit later, I'm sure.
Well, those of us who have a memory of it, I guess we could, but...
Yes, well, see, I have a very good memory of it because I left the bar at about 9:30.
Well, let's not jump ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's save that one, because that's a good one.
The exciting opening of Thursday morning, though, was documented at the top of the show. And, of course, what a lot of people wanted to know is the color of this year's Stealthfast Monkey. The FTR microphones were there minutes before the opening. And I got to say, I'm really impressed with the whole Stealthfast team because I tried like hell to get somebody to crack. I couldn't get it. Nope, nobody would let it slip.
Yeah, I know Dana very well. She's in the Cleveland area, and I promise you, she would not tell me. I didn't try and press her to it, but I asked a couple times, and she was not going to tell anybody. So that they do have their security down tight there.
What was your first reaction when you heard about the color, Rich?
I got to be honest with you, since our booth is right next to him, we did get the early sneak peek right at 9:00, and it was a unique color. I liked it. Looked good.
And for those of you who missed the beginning or you just fast forwarded right to this part of the show because, hey, let's face it, I mean, this has got a lot of appeal. It was turquoise.
Thanks for telling me. I never got out of the booth to see it.
He never got tapped. He never came back and tapped in, and you can leave the cage. And he was
No.
in it
See,
for a
I
while.
thought I was going to get out on Friday morning and have a walk around, but didn't sort of turn out that way.
Which was better for you? Trust me.
All right, boys, again, let's resist that temptation to jump ahead to Friday. We all know it was a fun day. However, that first crush on Thursday morning, last year, of course, that was dominated by Heads and Threads. This year, where did all the people go?
I think one of the interesting stories was Lindstrom Metric buying out Bassard Metric, but it really wasn't as big a story as the Heads and Threads one was last year. But now that was the biggest news. It happened the week before the show, and also there were some interested parties there. But again, it's not nearly as big as Heads. Other than that, I think people just go to the first aisle, and in the middle of the show doesn't see any activity for about a half hour or an hour till people make their way down the first few rows. So I don't know that there's any one place they were running to.
Now, Rich, your booth was situated right there at the front for all the non-procrastinators, where all you guys are. Our booth was way back in 1715. Of course, I wasn't there. When did the traffic finally show up back over there, Bri?
At any stage.
Well, we were in the 800 aisle, and thank God we had Stealthfast next to us. People running for the new color monkey. We're, like I said, right across the aisle from them. It really didn't probably get past till about 10. And it was pretty solid, 10 to 2, let's say. Good 4 hours, a lot of activity, a lot of people coming in to see, the people from our 5 locations that were at the booth. And it was steady, very steady that the first, or I should say from 10 to 2 for us. And of course, once that 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock hit, a lot of people jump to lunch. And of course, unless you eat over at the concession area, it's a 10 to 15 minute walk to get there and back, let alone sitting down and grab something. So it's at least an hour, hour and a half. So you kind of lose a little bit at that end of it. And of course, I know a few of the happy hours started a little early. A couple of them, I think, started at 3. And people started really kind of moseying out right around 3. So that last hour was definitely a little slower, where you can get some quality time with some customers, talking to them back and forth for at least more than a minute or two if they come back a little later in the show.
Yeah, I actually found that the same. We, by about 10, a little earlier actually, we had a stream of people, and a lot actually. And people in the other booths around us came over and said, "What is going on? How come you get all these people?"
Well, it does speak to the effectiveness of doing your pre-show work. And we spent a lot of time, actually about 3 weeks ahead of the show, really working the phones. in years past, we've sent out some mailers. I talked to others who had a similar experience. I mean, if you do that work, if you're personally inviting people to your booth, it really does pay off.
Yeah, we actually have, our reps throughout the country and try and set up some appointments with some of our customers to, bring them to the reps, bring them over to the booth or set something else for them to come by. And that works out pretty nice too, for a little, getting it going a little earlier than, just reeling them in as they walk down the aisle.
Yeah. Well, as we've been speaking, I received an email here from Susan Hurley, and it starts off, we're delighted to report that 4,246 persons from throughout the USA and 39 foreign countries were in attendance at this year's show.
That's that's a fair amount more than last year.
It's a pretty solid number, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mike McGuire, I could be wrong here, but I'm sure he said they had 3,600 or something last year.
I thought it was very good. If I had to bet money, I believe the statistics, of course, but it seemed about as busy as last year. It did not seem overwhelmingly more busy, but that being said, the show is awesome. It's a great show, but just the layout of the show, maybe it's spread out really well, and the aisles don't get that crowded. It's still a good show, but it seemed pretty similar to the year before for me.
I think that I agree with the traveling salesman that it's definitely probably very similar to last year. Seemed like there was probably a few more Far East exhibitors, this year than last year. Not sure how some of the larger importers feel about that, but it's kind of a road to cross one of these days. But it definitely was a good show and well attended, and it's one of those shows you pretty much have to be at.
Oh, there's no question of that. I don't have the statistics from this year. Last year, the percentage was 64% of the booths were American. You got a feel for if that number went up or down this year, Rich?
It seemed to me that it was looks like it was close to 30% Far East. Just looking at the show program, which seemed like it was probably up a little bit from the year before. I didn't really do the stats on it, but that's just kind of the feel from this year's show, which isn't all bad. I mean, there's a lot of good quality suppliers over there. And if you're looking to find something that you can't find here, they were there.
Well, being somewhat of an entrepreneur, there's an enormous business opportunity for someone to teach some of those suppliers from Asia how to appeal to the people walking by the show, because it is funny. A lot of times the individuals in the booth are just standing there with some fasteners on the table, and I appreciate that they come all the way over, and some of them I'm sure have some very important meetings with people much more important than myself, but they just have a hard time, it seems like, reaching out and getting people to come in. So I walk by and just ignore all of them for the most part, and I don't mean to. It's just I don't have business with them, I suppose, and they don't really have a good way of capturing somebody and saying, hey, maybe there's something here for you. So, I'm sure there are plenty of people that do visit them who are on a mission for a supplier from an Asian supplier that can do something they need done. But it is funny that there's a lot of Asian suppliers at the show, and I don't know how the show works for them, if it's a good show or if they're coming over here anyways because they want to visit certain people that are in this country. So
it's also known that the governments from some of those countries buy some of the booze in blocks, and not exactly sure how that works, but it might be that some of the lack of aggressiveness that you see is because they're not paying for that out of their own pockets. I don't exactly know how that works, but there you have it. Well, let's change the subject here to themes of the show. We already said that one of the big pieces of news that dropped right before was the Lindstrom-Bassard deal. And I really didn't hear too many people talking about that, other than to comment that it probably isn't that big of a piece of news when you really think about it. But what else were you guys hearing out there on the floor?
I wouldn't say so much what I was hearing. I thought the show was pretty fun in a lot of ways. I think a lot of the companies are trying to do something a little different at the show. I don't know anyone from Rotor Clip, but when you walked in the show and they had a safari set up for their booth and everyone was outfitted in safari clothes, you couldn't help but catch your attention and be attracted to take a look at their booth. And Rotor Clip's been around for a long time. It's not like people don't know them. So I love seeing that kind of stuff go on at the show.
Oh, yeah, they always do a great job of distinguishing themselves, and nothing screams retaining rings like Sara Mallo in a pith helmet.
Pith helmet without the light.
We're missing is
I thought it did seem like there was, Buckeye did a nice job with the old rusty bolt. I know I picked up a nice glass from the Solution Industry guys and went down there and filled it up, and it was quite tasty. I'm not sure what he puts in it, but it was a good lager for October.
Well, you hit on one of the highlights of the show. That's true, Rich. That one got a lot of fanfare. I was there for the tapping of the keg. That was at high noon on Thursday, and man, they had a steady stream of people there lining up to sample Old Rusty Bolt. Good job on that, TS.
Yeah, it tasted good. They did a great job. I give a lot of credit to Larry loves his beer, so that was a labor of love for him. But that being said, Buckeye did a lot of work to make that happen. And I could joke around about the silly side of it, which is a lot of fun. But that company's over 100 years old, and Ohio Nut and Bolt Buckeye has been around that long. And I love how they try and create a different atmosphere than just an old bolt manufacturer. They were being creative, making people stop by, say hello, hear what's new. They had a little film going on in their booth showing their operation. They planned ahead. They did a lot of work, and I did speak with Larry after that to thank him again for having Old Rusty Bolt in the booth. So hopefully they get some business out of it too. But at least people are going to look at him and think of them as somebody they'd like to do business with potentially.
Was your cover blowing?
I don't believe so. I think it's intact. With the 7 people that don't know.
I know your reputation was. I know your reputation was blown, but other than that, I just want to make sure.
I thought
that happens on a continuous basis.
Yeah, I thought it went a long time ago.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard, because you were all huddled around the Old Rusty Bolt keg, but down the aisle a little bit over at the NFDA booth, they had a little bit of a mishap on Thursday with the free beer. I'm not exactly sure, but I heard it was iced up lines, and Vicky got so upset that she basically cast them out of the booth, and that didn't go down for NFDA on Thursday. So again, I'm not sure what the arrangements were, but the next day on Friday, they had a full bar there with wine, and you could pretty much get whatever you wanted. I don't know if they got comped because of the hardship or what, but you can't take anything for granted in the wild world of free Fastener beer distribution, I guess.
I guess I have one quick question there for you, Eric. Did you continue the pace you were on Thursday since it was free Friday?
No, he didn't seem to, because I actually made my way down to the booth and had a glass of wine, but I didn't see Eric anywhere near there or our booth for some time, actually.
Well, that's because I'm always working, Bri.
I'd been pre-warned.
He was definitely working. I'm just not sure if he knew he was working. And I do have it on. Can we somehow get video up on the website? Because I have a good hour of him on Friday. I still don't think he knows where exactly he was.
Oh, I don't think we need that, really. Okay. It's quite obvious.
All right, I'll delete it.
I don't know, Rich. I might hold on to that a little longer, Sounds like fun.
Well, he did go deep in the pocket on Tuesday night, so I think anytime I see him, I just kind of have to give him the wave for whatever libations are around.
All right, I'm up for a good challenge, you guys. Don't forget, I've got hundreds of hours of audio. Well, getting back to the mood and the tone on the floor, what else in terms of themes, or was there any rumors that you heard flying around? I mean, what was happening out there, guys? You're our boots on the floor.
I think a lot of people had similar descriptions of how this year have gone. I don't think it's anything too startling, but the first half of the year was very strong, and second half of the year it's been pretty good, but there's been some lulls, a little tailing off, maybe a little softness, nothing that's making people panic. But the second half.
Wait, hang on. Is this Holden I'm talking to now?
Is that pretty much what he's telling you too? Because everywhere I go and everywhere I talk to from different parts of the country, I don't think anybody said much differently. You do have certain companies that are breaking records or having a really good couple months, but for the most part, it just tailed off a little bit, still steady, nothing spectacular though. And again, you don't want to assume why that's happening. People say, oh, that's all because of the election. Others, say it's just because the first half was strong. So you don't really know. But that seemed pretty consistent from all parts of the country.
I do agree. I mean, I guess the word I would use would be people are still kind of some uncertainty out there. Is the economy going to turn around and go full steam? Is it going to be, another little lull? We had a great first half ourselves, slowed down 4th of July for a month and a half, picked up a little bit. And, obviously, I think most companies in the fastener industry, they pretty much write off November, December, with the holidays and people kind of slowing it down a little bit. Some of these companies cutting back and retooling and getting geared up for the first of the year. So it was a pretty good summation there, Trailing Salesman, and I concur.
Did all you guys get a chance to meet Andy Pelz?
You actually brought him and introduced him to me, and I guess he still doesn't get all the hype, but it was a pleasure to meet him.
Well, he's a modest guy and had a great time walking the floor for a while. He was helping me to pass off the now famous Egg McMuffin.
Who got it?
We weren't successful, and probably I shouldn't have brought that up. But anyway, it was great to see Andy out there, and want to shout out to him. He supplied us with some screwcrew.com coffee mugs, which are awesome.
I actually was at the Buckeye booth when he was there, so we got to share an old rusty bolt together, which was nice.
Yeah, we got a little audio of him commenting on his reaction to the old rusty, and that was pretty good. There was something else that I got as a little swag on the show floor, and I'll tell you what, I had a heck of a lot of fun with this. Some people might have seen it. I'm not sure if too many people got wind of this or not, but the Solution Industries guys gave me this really, really cool shirt. It was a Solution Man shirt, and I had it on at the show floor. It's a lot of fun to wear that thing.
It takes a brave man to wear that shirt.
A very brave man. I thought it was going to be like a tear-off shirt myself, and/or AKA the Solution Industries bowling shirt, which kind of looked Supermanish, but very gutsy wearing it.
And I just happen to know that Solution woman herself, Laura Vath, was instrumental in the design of that, and I'm sure she's happy that I share that, because it was a beautiful shirt, and I want to make sure she gets full credit for coming up with that design. They had some nice looking shoes in the booth. We'll tell them.
Can I ask a quick question, Trailing Salesman?
Sure.
Was that shirt meant to be worn 2 days or 24 hours in a row, or was there like a change of shirts that he missed?
No, there's two the same, okay?
Okay. It looks very similar from Thursday afternoon to Friday.
Mid-morning.
Superheroes on the go don't always have time to stop in a phone booth. I think you should appreciate that, Rich.
I do. Believe me.
Rich, I think they call it a show shirt. So it could go from Tuesday to Friday the way it's designed if it needs to.
Show shirt, show off shirt. It takes a special man to wear that for as long as he did wear it. And again, I guess we're just jealous that we did not get a chance to wear it.
Well, it was a whole lot of fun, and it would surprise me if a photo or two does not surface of that shirt. As a matter of fact, there's one on the Fully Threaded Facebook page right now. but I'm sure a few others might become public here or there. Although I'm not sure.
Right. I'm being very quiet, actually.
Well, why don't we move on to the post-Thursday activities, and that all culminated, of course, with a couple of cocktail parties here and there, which I know people were going to. There were a lot of private dinners going on, a few hospitality suites here and there that I know a lot of people knew about. But ultimately, a lot of people wound up at the Venetian Hotel in the Bourbon Room. And that was some of your handiwork right there, TS.
Yeah, it was a little bit, but truthfully, that location last year was a good gathering spot. I saw a lot of people from the industry there, last year's show, and the band was good. This year they did not have a band, but there's a lot of places you could step out of the area where there's music if you needed to talk to somebody, and if you just wanted to hang out and have a drink and have some fun. That location was very good. So I just thought it would be a great place to try and add more people, and that's when we sent out the message of that's the meeting place.
Yeah, well, you're a modest guy, TS, and I heard a lot of people went there because of reading your blog. And another thing, I heard a lot of people went there because they saw the tweets. And there were a lot of people that were participating in the Twitter sphere this year. So that's kind of encouraging if you're a social media wonk.
I have to agree. I mean, that's a perfect place. I think it was also a perfect time, 8:30, 9 o'clock, after a quick stop at the Beacon V-Bar, which I thought I saw that shirt. I'm not sure if you were in it, but Beacon had a nice little party at the V-Bar. A little Bright and Best action after that. Go back, change, get our Danny Terrio outfits on and hit that dance floor. But it is a perfect spot. Looks like no more band, it's all DJ. And they do a nice job. They kept it going, and there's some bad male dancing going on out there, but it's definitely all fun.
Yeah, the motif is like 80s hair band music, and I just struck the perfect tone for the party. Of course, you also brought up the fact that Bob Wagner over there at Beacon Fasteners pulled out the stops. They had a great private party at the V-Bar right after the show. That went really well, and it was a good warm-up for the Bourbon Room. Did any of you guys actually have any scotch or any whiskey? Because I think I might have had a glass or two, and they had the craziest ice cubes. Did you notice that?
Rumor has it the Solution Man, the person wearing the Solution Man shirt drank them out of a lot of the whiskey, so I'm not sure there's enough left for everybody else.
Right, yeah, and surprising it is that he had time to even look at the ice cubes.
Well, I'm actually looking at the picture online of him, and his eyes almost look like ice cubes.
Well, there was a lot of cigar smoking going on in there, not by me, incidentally. So, TS said it. It was loud and smoky, and the photography has a way of picking that up. I think you know exactly what I mean, Rich.
I do. I just hope no pictures of myself show up anyway.
Suffice it to say, it was a whole lot of fun. I think a lot of people really kind of pulled out the stops on Thursday night, and that brought us into Friday, which, let's face it, there was a little bit less traffic, but that day kind of has its own flavor, right? Because a lot of the exhibitors work with one another, suppliers, distributors. It has its own flavor.
That's definitely the time to kind of just mingle with everyone at the show. I was talking to the traveling salesman at the show, and there's a lot of customers and suppliers obviously exhibiting there, and with the 600 plus exhibitors, there's bound to be 10-20% of customers and suppliers there. So that's another feature of Friday that people that come in earlier in the morning, or I should say that day, to talk, you get a little more quality time with them, and then bump around and see maybe some local people from your areas and talk a little bit about what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Each year people suggest that the show should not take place on Friday, and I disagree. I think a lot of good stuff does get done. People who do want to have more time at a booth, and there are, there's not as many people for sure, but there are some people you see they're on a mission on Friday to get a few meetings in, And let's face it, none of us want that show to end Thursday at 4 because some amount of people would go home, and that would make Thursday night a lot worse. It's too good of a night. I think people will be trying to sneak out Thursday night. It's better they stay around till Friday and just relax. So,
yeah, I think the people heading back to the East Coast, probably stuck around for at least a couple hours, 11, 12 o'clock, and then headed over to the airport, and obviously the rest were either leaving later that night or the next morning. So, yeah, it's definitely a day and a half show. I think that's a perfect time.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no perfect solution, but I think they've come as close as they're going to.
Well, of course, you forgot to mention what the excitement of Friday was. It was finding out when John Butler turned up, did he find his phone?
Oh, that was a horrifying moment when we thought that he left it in the cab.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a photo of him at our booth. He showed me holding his phone up.
I've got a quick funny story. I'd never met John before Thursday night at the Bourbon Room, and he shook hands, and he kept calling me Mike, and I just let him call me Mike. I didn't really correct him. It was loud. And finally, I took my business card out, and I said, well, here's who I really am. And he looked at me and said, I thought you were Mike McNulty the whole evening. So apparently the traveling salesman must look enough like Mike. Granted, we're not
Eric,
the tallest guys at the show.
I'm not
Not
sure you
only
should
do
air
insult
this.
Mike
Mike
that
might
way,
be very upset.
I know, that's very insulting to poor Mike.
No. I think this just speaks very highly of your superhero power to the ability to cloud men's minds to conceal your true identity.
Eric, you know what this was for the traveling salesman, don't you? This was the Super Bowl, no doubt about it.
There you
It
go.
was the Super Bowl for the fastener industry for him, and I actually thought I saw him giving a Heisman pose at a couple booths, but I'm not positive on that. But if anyone's got any pictures, I'd love to see them on Fully Threaded Radio website.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I think this is the age of social, and things are going to be coming out here over the forthcoming days and weeks ahead.
Can I just say one thing? I hope not.
You mean what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
And I'm not taking claim to that either. I'm not infringing on that copyright.
We've sort of wiped that away already.
Well, guys, I think that's probably an apropos way to conclude the conversation. It is and it was the Super Bowl for the fastener industry, and the 2012 rendition is now in the history books. I think we all came away with it from the show this year with a few memories, a few possibly foggy ones, but memories nonetheless.
And Eric, if you need to get the next year's date, October 23rd to the 25th, same place.
Are you saying that we should get our booth now so we don't wind up in 1700 again? Is that it?
Well, not only that, but I think I'm just going to get a block of rooms because we need to grab 7 rooms for our people. And I don't know, when we went, they said we got 1. I said, well, won't be real comfortable with 7 people in a room. So I think that was one of the little bit of the drawbacks. Those people are kind of spread out all over, but what are you going to do?
Right. Well, it's probably good advice. Jump on this, folks, and we'll see you all out there next year. So Rich Cavoto with Metric and Multi-Standard, appreciate you jumping in with us again to do this review. I hope we didn't get in too much trouble.
No, my pleasure, guys.
Traveling salesman, people can always check in with you at the website www.fastenerblog.net. I'd love to hear some comments to your post out there, too.
I had a few people chiming in already, and I appreciate it, and glad to be on the show.
Ryan?
Yes.
You're in the office all the time, so.
I know, yeah, when I'm not in the booth.
Just like the booth, exactly.
It's all right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you next time, guys.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Up next, we're going to venture where few fastener men have ventured before. There's nothing sexist about that comment, as you'll hear in a moment. It's Fully Threaded. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
FastenersClearinghouse.com. Search and source from over 500,000 line items, or just a mouse click away and available at no charge. When the need arises, you won't find a better place to locate hard-to-find fastener inventory. It's where you need to be.
This is Joe Truckee of Cal Fasteners, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for us.
This is Robert Wanzer, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for American Imperial.
This is Andy Pell from ScrewCrew.com, and FCH works for the fastener industry.
Join the sourcing network now and show your inventory to a whole new market. Turn slow movers into cash. List up to 10,000 line items. Show them to distributors only or to the world. FastenersClearinghouse.com. It's where you need to be.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, www.semperfifund.org. Over the past 7 years, twice a year, the wonderful people who operate the Semper Fi Fund and many amazing Marines who have been the beneficiaries of the charities that have supported the Semper Fi Fund, including many thousands of individual donors, have come into my radio studio to tell their amazing stories of serving their country, of being wounded, and how the Semper Fi Fund has helped them make that transition back to recovery. Unfortunately, Bethesda and Walter Reed are full again. More and more men and women are coming back from the war injured, sometimes awfully so. We need the Semper Fi Fund to be there for these Marines and those soldiers, sailors, and airmen who served alongside of them. Please consider a gift to the Semper Fi Fund. Very low overhead, extraordinary capacity to get money where it needs to get in a hurry, and great management, including some of the senior Marines who've ever served under the flag. When you're looking for something to do that will make an impact, please check out the Semper Fi Fund. That's www.semperfifund.org, www.semperfifund.org.
These guys aren't screwing around much. Brian and Eric, fully threaded radio, internet talk radio for the fastener industry.
This is Rick Porter with Mid-Valley Distributors, the largest stocking distributor of fasteners in Central California. If we don't have it, weld it. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, your online, high-stakes, high-rolling fastener hosts, back with you.
Right, well, occasionally not so high-rolling, okay?
We do the best we can, man.
Yeah, when I walk past the $25,000 minimum table, I sort of think, oh, God, make sure I don't go anywhere near that.
On your way to the nickel slot, you mean?
Yeah, right. We're the 1 cent ones.
Well, it was a good show. Oh, and speaking of the shows and events coming up, I should have mentioned, of course, we've got the PAC West and the NFDA meetings coming up here in early November. And I didn't let folks know that if they need more information on those two fall conferences, they should go out to the respective websites and get all the details there, because these are going to be good events right on the heels of the Vegas show. PAC West, of course, is pac-west.org. And the NFDA is nfda-fasteners.com. You going to jump right on that, Bri?
Oh, yeah.
Good man. Well, I guess it's that time of the show where we need to really pull out all the stops, and I know a lot of you have been hanging on for the big Pam Berry segment, and we're going to play that next. And I got to say, before we do, Bri, I think we were calling ourselves high rollers there before. I mean, I think we're kind of gambling with our entire online Fastener Talk Radio futures by playing this.
Wow, you think it's that serious?
Well, serious would be one way of saying it, yeah, but I guess we'll see after the fallout comes back. This was a lot of fun. It was really over the top, and hats off to Pam Berry for taking us into the inner sanctum.
Oh, wow.
Why don't we play it right now?
Yeah.
Pam Berry, Advanced Components. We were talking last night at the big gala, and you had kind of an unusual idea, I think. You remember that?
I do indeed.
Yes, I can tell by the grin on your face that you do. So, among other things, Wi-Fi, the Women in the Fastener Industry group, is doing kind of an unusual sponsorship this year. What's that all about?
We're sponsoring the women's bathrooms because we believe that women should be hydrated with moisturizer and refreshed with breath mints. So our women's restrooms inside the hall have lotion and mints, courtesy of Wi-Fi.
This is a novel idea, and I congratulate you on something all new for the fastener industry. You had indicated that you'd be interested in taking us into the inner sanctum of the ladies' bathroom here at NIFS, and well, we're going to let you have the fully threaded microphones to take with you right now. You think you're up to it, Pam Berry?
I'm ready to go. This is Pam Berry reporting for Fully Threaded Fastener Radio. I'm walking into the ladies' room. There's a beautiful lady right now. Hello. Are you having a good show?
Yes, but I don't give interviews from the ladies' room.
Oh, it's a good place to talk. And as you can see, we have lotion to moisturize and...
Very nice touch, absolutely.
Yes, have you moisturized today?
Not yet.
Oh, well, yes, please. Maybe wash your hands first. That would be good. Oh. Excuse me. Would you like to...
Yes.
Would you like to comment about the show and about how great the bathroom is because of Wi-Fi?
Well, the bathroom is really nice, but I could use some toilet paper. Would you mind handing me some?
Oh, 1 second. Toilet paper. Here.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, at least you're not the toilet paper Nazi.
Everybody got enough toilet paper?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're back. You like the ladies' room, don't you? Hi, welcome to the ladies' room. Sponsored by Wi-Fi.
Yay!
If you'd like some mints so that you'll have fresh breath and to moisturize, since you are in Vegas, you're
Absolutely. After I do my
hydration.
duties.
Go do your duties and come back.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you for visiting. Okay, we're still in the ladies' room. We're waiting for some intelligent conversation while moisturizing and refreshing. Half the stalls are full. There's going to be a big rush pretty soon. So I think the lunch crowd is coming in now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. I think this is going to be some good stuff. How's your day been?
Oh, wonderful. And yours?
It's been great. Would you like to say something to our audience out there in Fastener World? What do you think the men's bathroom is like?
I wouldn't want to know.
I was just going to say, I don't even want to think about it.
It's probably pretty sad.
Yeah.
Only they knew what we had in here.
I know. This is nice.
Thank you. Thanks for visiting.
All right. Have a good show.
I'm sure we'll be there.
Yeah, come again soon. Yes, please moisturize.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, things have slowed down in here. I guess I'm going to have to sign out for now. But I think it's been a really good experience. I think the women have come together and have really bonded in the bathroom. And I'm hoping that next year, who knows, we may get someone to come in to massage feet or something. But for now, I'm happy. It's been a good show. Goodbye.
Just a quick debriefer. You just emerged from the ladies' bathroom here at NIFS. Of course, Wi-Fi sponsoring that. Pam Berry, thanks for going in there. Can't wait to hear what you did.
Yes, it was a cleansing experience.
Was there any exfoliating going on in there?
A lot of moisturizing.
That's good to hear. And is that primarily the difference that we would see if we were in a sponsored versus a non-sponsored bathroom today?
Yes, total moisturization and good breath.
That is delightful. As is NIFS 2012.
Right, familiar noise, okay?
How's that for theater of the mind, folks?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think? Are we going to have another episode or two, or is that going to just shut us down? What do you think, Bry?
Well, yeah, we'll wait. I think we'll be okay.
I do, too. That was a whole lot of fun, and thanks to Pam Berry for jumping in, and you got to hand it to the Wi-Fi gals. I mean, that is a unique way to recruit new members.
Right.
And if you weren't at this year's NIFS, folks, needless to say, I think that's probably going to boost next year's numbers up a little bit, at least from a certain demographic.
Well, see, you've got to try these new things all the time.
Exactly. Well, why don't we thank the sponsors on today's episode of Fully Threaded Radio, and they were our title sponsors, Stelfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. And Beacon Fasteners and Components. Beacon Fasteners. Nice threads. Trinity Hardware Headquarters was also with us today, as was Fastenal.
Yes, thanks all.
Heidi Voltrauer joined us today as well with Volt Industrial Plastics and the All-American Fastener Show, and she's going to be joining us next episode to discuss that show, which is in Kansas City, Missouri this year. So I hope you'll all join us for that. Yep. And thanks to each and every one of you for listening to Fully Threaded Radio. Please let us know how we're doing. You can do that at the email address, ftr@fullythreaded.com, and we're out there on Twitter all the time under the handle Fully Threaded. Check us out on Facebook, like us, post to our page. Love to see you out there.
Yes, and don't forget that the easiest way of listening to Fully Threaded is when you're cruising through traffic or something, you need to take your mind off it. Just listen to it as a podcast. You can load up podcasts on your iPhone. We have instructions on our Fully Threaded page as to how to put it into your BlackBerry and on your Android phone, okay?
Good advice, Bry. More and more people do listen to Fully Threaded on their mobile devices, and that's real cool. Well, before we get out of here, we had a lot of feedback at the Vegas show about our last episode, and of course that got a little political. I'm happy to say that everybody was, regardless of their political orientation, by and large, very receptive to the episode and very encouraging. Of course, everybody has their own perspective here, and before we leave you today, I'd like to point out that there's a great resource that I hope you'll all tune into, and it's a book that is really something that's easy to absorb, and I think it makes a great case for what's at stake in this upcoming election. If you haven't heard of it yet, the name of the book is Liberty and Tyranny. We've promoted it a few times on the show. It's by Mark Levin. He's a pretty well-known radio host, but this book is something that's just super easy to absorb. If you're still on the fence, or if you've got somebody who you know who's on the fence, I say it's a great read. We're going to put a link to this up on our Facebook page. And Liberty and Tyranny by Mark Levin, really well worth a few minutes, even if you only read, frankly, the first chapter. I mean, it really lays out the stakes in the upcoming election.
Yeah, it's a great read, eye-opener. Should be read by anyone who even is thinking of voting, or someone who isn't thinking of voting, actually.
I agree. Every American. If you really want to understand true American ideals, what are they? Liberty and tyranny. But for now, we've got a little bit of liberty left, right? And we're going to take our liberty right now. We're going to take our leave. And we thank you so much for listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Yeah, thanks. Tune in next time.
For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there and sell some screws, everybody. And we'll talk to you next time.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
What are we doing?
And we're here at the Bourbon Room playing Fastener Word Association with Pam Berry and Jim Sullivan with Chicago Hardware. This time, Pam's going to pick out the words, and Jim's going to say the first thing that comes into his mind when she says the word. Pam, go!
Cage nut.
Screw.
Pell nut.
Screw.
Rivet.
Screw.
Threads.
Screw you. I don't know.
It's getting kind of wild here, folks. Thanks for playing.